Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany and today we are going to be making something a little different than normal. Usually I bake like sweet treats, but today we are going to be making homemade pretzels. Something I have never made on my own before, but I absolutely love soft homemade pretzels, like the ones you can get at like carnivals or whatever it is. So we're going to attempt that today. I have all my ingredients set up right here for to be started. I have a pot of hot water on the stove for the boiling process or the hot water bath process. So yeah, let's get started. The first thing you're gonna do, you can do this by hand or you can use a stand mixer. I'm gonna use my stand mixer. I'm gonna use the whisk attachment to start, and then I'm gonna switch to the bread hook. But yeah, so let's get it going. First, you're going to need 1.5 cups lukewarm water. You don't want boiling water because you don't want it to kill your yeast, but you want warm water. I actually have some over here. It's perfect temp right now. I already pre-measured 1.5 cups, so I'm just going to pour that right into my stand mixer. And next, you're going to need 2 1/4 teaspoons dry active yeast, instant or active, dry active. And I already had a package open here, so I'm just gonna use the rest of that, see what I get out of that. You don't need the little packs, you can use, they have little jars of yeast, whatever you have works. So here in this one, I have a little less than a teaspoon, so I'm going to measure out some more. Put that down so I don't spill it. I grab some scissors. I'm also going to make a cheese sauce on the side to dip them in. I think that would be tasty. I'm a little nervous about this because I've never made, like I said, I've never made them before. I have made bread before, so we'll just hope for the best, right? I like to switch it up a little bit, not always have something sweet. Okay, so this is one. Pour that right into your warm water. 2. And just so I have accurate measurement, normally I would eyeball it into the teaspoon measurement, but just so I'm accurate, I will use the 1/4 teaspoon measurement. And there's a 1/4 teaspoon. And you are going to whisk it around just to, and then, so I'm just going to do a quick mix in my mixer, not a lot, just to get the yeast mixed in. Help if I was plugged in. There, that is it. And you're going to let it sit for a total of a minute. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all my other stuff measured out. So now we're going to need salt. You're going to need a teaspoon of salt. So I'm just going to pre-measure it right here. Normally I would do this right over the bowl, but I don't want to start mixing anything in yet. I really want to give my yeast time to sit. So that's a teaspoon of that. Then I'm going to need a tablespoon of brown sugar. And I'm actually going to need melted butter, so I'm going to go ahead and get that melting on the stove. Because, like I've said, I don't own a microwave. So quickly I'm going to get that on the stove. Now, you can use brown sugar or you can use granulated white sugar. It's up to you. That option is yours. So you only need a tablespoon of butter. So I will do that. Get that melting. While that sits. And I will get my flour ready. Here. And I think that's been about a minute. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly add in, I'm going to whisk it all together. I'm going to do it at a slow pace. So first I'm going to do my salt. So 1 teaspoon of salt. And then the 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. My butter is melted already. It didn't take very long, but it does say to let it cool just a slight bit before you add it in. So we're going to do that, let it cool. I'll move it around to kind of speed up the process here. Okay, I'm going to add that in. I love the smell of the yeast, like when you're making bread. It smells so good. Makes you think of that warm bread coming out of the oven. Okay, so now we're going to slowly start adding in the flour. And the flour you're going to need 3 to 3 1/4 cup of flour. So let's get this on this other side. You want to do it slowly. This is my first cup. I'm just going to add it in. I'm going to start out with it says to use the bread hook, but I'm going to start out with the whisk at first. And then I'll move on to, just to kind of get it all incorporated together before time. Myself a rubber spatula to help clean the sides up. This is cup number 2. This is probably where you would turn it on a little higher to get it going. And you will see your dough start to form. I'll show you in the end what it should look like. This is number 3, and actually I'm going to switch over to my bread hook now before it gets too thick. just going to add this in while it's up. That's number 3. Now it's taking shape. You really want like a thick dough. So I'm going to lift and I'm going to scoop this all down so I get all the flour that's on the sides because it gathered on the sides. You want it all to be mixed in. Okay, so that was 3 cups. I'm going to do another half a cup. Go from there. You really just want to eyeball it. You want your dough to like form a ball and bounce back when. Okay, so now I'm going to add in another half a cup. Now, this recipe says to turn it out on a floured surface, but if you want to knead it with your stand mixer, you can do that as well. That's what I do with all my other breads. I use my stand mixer and it works perfectly fine. Need a little bit more, and I think it'll just be perfect. I don't want half a cup, I want about a 1/4 cup. I want to do the 3 3/4 cups. See how it's forming on the dough hook? That's what you want. You want it to form a ball. Okay. I'm going to show you what the dough looks like. This is what it looks like. It's super sticky right now. So if it's sticky, you want to add, you don't want super sticky. Like this is way too sticky. If it stays stuck to your fingers, you don't want that. You want to add a little bit more flour, but just do it in slow amounts so you don't overdo it. Whatever works best for you. I'm not going to give a certain amount as to what to add more because every recipe will be different. Mine will be different from yours. It all depends on kitchen heat, temperature, whatever it is. Everything makes a difference when it comes to a dough. So really eyeball it. You don't want a super sticky dough. Like I said, you don't want it stuck to your fingers like this. You want to be able to touch it and it kind of stays together. So let's see this. See, now I can poke it and it's not like it's sticky when I grab it, but it's not coming off onto my fingers when I just touch it like this. So that's good. So now I'm gonna let it knead for another like few minutes. Kneading just helps add gluten to your bread. I'm gonna leave this here for afterwards. I'm gonna let this knead. In the meantime, on my stove, I have a pot of 9 cups of water, and I have half a cup of baking soda set aside, because that's going to be your hot water bath for the pretzels to give that chewy, shiny look that pretzels have. So this is looking good. I'll show you again what it looks like. This is nice and I can touch it, no dough on my fingers, that's what you want. So you just keep on kneading. If you were to do this on your counter, you would just keep pushing and pulling and So it can fall off my bread hook perfectly. I think that has been a few minutes anyway. So now, I actually think I might add just a slight bit more flour, just a tad, because it is kind of sticky still, so. Okay. I think this should be perfect for to rest now. It has been kneading for a few minutes now. Take this off. Take this off. I'm going to show you what my dough looks like. It has formed its own ball down in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just take a little bit of flour on my hands, rub it together so it doesn't stick to me. And I'm going to form a nice ball. And I'm going to place it back in this bowl. And you're going to cover it. Cover it for 10 minutes and just let it rest. You can use a towel, you can use plastic wrap, you can use any of that. So you kind of want it in a warm place so that it kind of can rise. So I just like to stick it on the oven top since my oven's on, and we will go from there. Okay, so in the meantime of waiting for the dough to set, I will make cheese sauce that I want to dunk the pretzels in. So it's very simple to make. You can choose to do this or not. You can also buy dipping sauce, so whatever works best for you. To start, you're going to take 1 teaspoon of butter. Maybe not have it so high that it's sizzling like that, but you want to melt the butter along with 1 did I say teaspoon? I meant tablespoon. 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 tablespoon of flour, and you're going to whisk that together to create a paste. Now what this paste is going to do is thicken your cheese sauce. You kind of want to do it for about a minute to take away that flour taste. Keep whisking. Okay. So that's that. I forgot to grab my cup of milk. So here's my cup of milk. Now, once this has formed a paste, which mine kind of looks thin, so I don't know if I should add a little, I'm going to add a little more flour. Not too much, but just a little bit. So what this is called it's called a roux, if you don't know what it's called. This could be the base to a gravy or anything that you really want to thicken up. Okay, so now that is done, I'm going to add in a cup of milk. I'm going to whisk that together. And you just really want this to thicken up. You want the milk to thicken up. So in the meantime, if I didn't tell you, preheat your oven to 400 degrees. So that's up to temp when it's time to bake the pretzels. Okay, I'm gonna let that the other stuff ready to go. You're also going to need 1 cup of cheddar cheese. In my case, I forgot to grab cheese when I was at the grocery store yesterday, so I used part cheddar, part mozzarella. I'm assuming it'll still be good because it's cheese. I don't think it really matters. It's all in preference. And that's my half a teaspoon of salt. That's ready to go. Okay, this is starting to thicken. I can feel it's thickening. Give it another few minutes, let it thicken some more. You know it's thickening when you are whisking or stirring and you can feel at the bottom like it's starting to, how do I explain that? When you pass either your whisk or your spoon or whatever on the bottom of your pan, you can feel it kind of creating a coating at the bottom. That means it's starting to thicken. And you can see the difference. It doesn't look like thin milk anymore. It looks like it's starting to thicken. That's what you want to start seeing. Okay. So now that it is thickening, you're going to remove it from the heat, and you're going to add your cheese. So it's a cup of your cheese. You're going to whisk that in. And your half a teaspoon of salt. Oops. Just keep stirring. Until your cheese is all melted. And there's my cheese sauce. As you can see, it's nice and thick. So this is ready to go. I'll just reheat it when it's time to eat the pretzels. I don't want it to solidify in my pan, but so we'll keep that over here. And I'm gonna get my pot of my pot of water for that on the heat. It has been 10 minutes, so we will start shaping the pretzels. Okay, so first I'm gonna get my water up to temp, and then I'll add in the baking soda. And in the meantime, I'm gonna set up my area for, I'm gonna lay out some flour on the counter, make a working station. Now for your pan, after you shape your pretzels, you can use parchment paper, but with the parchment paper, put a coating of spray, like cooking spray. This has been sitting for 10 minutes. And now, I'm gonna get it out of the bowl. There we go. You want to put some flour on your hands so you can work with the dough and not. So what you're going to do is you're going to take pinches of the dough on a good size pinch. And you're going to start rolling it out. Might be easier to start in my hands. You want it nice and long. can work with it. And then not having the easiest time rolling it on the counter. I don't know if it's because I have too much flour at this point. I think that might be the case. Maybe not use as much flour. Need it long enough so you can pull it up and make twists with it. I think this should be long enough. So you're gonna pull it up here, you're gonna twist it around, and you're gonna bring it down and make a pretzel. And then you're gonna put it on your pan. So this one's kind of small. I'll take a bigger amount next time. It's hard to show you without dropping it. So I'm gonna put it on my pan for now. And I think this time I'm going to take a little more. So it does work better with less flour. So I'm going to do less flour. I just didn't want it to stick, but now I'm seeing that you kind of need some stickiness to make it work. Now, remember, it's the first time I make these, so bear with me. Okay, this looks like it's long enough. Bring it up, twist it over, bring it down. Press it onto your ends. Now I'm just going to repeat this until I'm done with the dough. So I'll show you after what to do. Okay, so I'm done forming the pretzels and now my hot water bath is ready. So again, this is 9 cups of water, half a cup of baking soda, and you want to have a slotted spoon for this. And what you're going to do, you're going to drop in 1 to 2 pretzels at a time, and it's literally going to be a quick bath. You don't want to do it very long because they will get the taste of the baking soda. So probably 20 to 30 seconds and then out. So I'm going to drop in 1, and it does a bubbling thing. Okay, I'm going to do 20 seconds. I just counted 20 seconds in my head. So I don't want to do too long because I don't want it to taste like the baking soda. And you're going to feel, if you touch it, you're going to feel the texture is totally different than what it was before you dropped it in. So I'm going to do my next one. I made 10 pretzels. Let the excess drip off. Take this one out. There. Take this one out. And you can feel that it already has that chewy kind of texture. So you're going to do that with all your pretzels. So I'm just counting in my head 20 seconds, and by the time I'm done taking that one out, this one should be ready too. So just counting in 20 seconds. They kind of float after they're like ready too. Like I know which one I've put in first because it comes to the top of the water. This one's kind of tiny. I didn't measure out my dough properly, probably. They're all pretty uniform in size, except for that one. I had just enough to make a small one again. And it looks like I got in a fight with the flour bag. Okay, so now that's done. So what you're going to do now, I'm going to take this off the stove. I'm going to shut my heat off. And now you're going to take coarse salt and you're going to sprinkle the tops of your pretzels. I like a lot of salt on my pretzels. I like the taste of it with the salt. And then, once you're done with this, just need a little more. There. Now you're going to stick that in the oven. Take about, let me check the amount of time, 15 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes. So that's, I'm going to put a timer on to make sure I don't overcook, but I'm going to start it at 12 and check it in between. Or until it's golden brown. So it's really, keep an eye on it, depends on your oven. Every oven is different. I've said this in the past. So really keep an eye on it. And when they're golden brown, they're ready to come out. So I will show you the end product. Okay, so my timer went off. So I reset it for another few minutes because they weren't quite ready. So I'm at a little over 15 minutes, but I think they're ready to come out now. So I will show you what they look like. They look so pretty. Look at those. Oh, they turned out so good. I'm so excited. Okay, so now I'm just gonna plate them. You eat these while they're warm. Obviously, soft pretzels are better warm. And then we're gonna try out the cheese sauce as well. I'll get the cheese sauce. And we'll hold that. Look at that sauce. So it just goes to show that you can use any cheese, really, that you enjoy. So I'm just going to take a little taste of the small one that I made here. It smells so good. These are really good. I'm really impressed with myself. My dog just came running because he saw that I had food. Get out of the kitchen. These are so good. I suggest you try them. Not hard to make at all. I believe that anybody could really make these, whether you're a chef or not, or an experienced cook or not. Give these a try. You won't regret it. So today, obviously, I made a recipe that I've never done before. Some recipes I do make on a regular. Some I look up and I find online on Pinterest. So I will give credit to the person down below. But this one is a keeper. I am definitely going to be making these more often. A lot easier than I thought they would be. So if you like this video and you like following along and learning new recipes with me, or even learning recipes that I've been making for a while, just hit that subscribe button down below, like the video so it's saved into your likes. You can follow along for future reference. And every subscribe is appreciated. And I thank you all for watching today, and I hope you join me next time.